Good morning, gentlemen. Here we are to discuss a very relevant topic, which is the forensic analysis of buildings. The moment we speak about forensics, our heart goes out to immediately think that the forensic would mean a crime scene, analyzing what Sherlock Holmes did. The immediate connect is not towards buildings, whereas forensics can be used in audits, in accounting, in archaeology, in any department to see what was the root cause. And to that end, forensic construction analysis gives us a root cause of failures of buildings. So now look at buildings. How can buildings be failing? They can be failing on two counts. One, a building can fail because of poor workmanship, or a building can fail because of non-adherence to materials. Now, a specified material not being used, we can do chemical analysis, on-site testing, sample analysis, destructive testing, on-site non-destructive testing. Various methods are available. Similarly, for poor workmanship, site visits, inference analysis, we can see whether what tool has been used for doing what job. The analysis can go on and on, but the aim is pretty clear. We don't need recurring faults. We don't want repetitive failures. We want to go as an institution from strength to strength. So, if something has gone wrong, is an analysis required? Of course it is required. So, nowadays there are experts available in the forensic construction analysis field. First constructing agency, there is one agency, Google it, you will see. The number of agencies abroad which help analyzing the house as to where the house has gone wrong, helps in litigations, helps in setting the house right with the money of the constructing agency. Now, if we do not know whether something is right or wrong, and if we rely on conjectures, you would have heard somebody saying that ये building खराब है, ये building तो मज़ा नहीं आ रहा है, इस building में material ठीक नहीं लगा है. Utpatang statements, statements on the go without veracity, they can be extremely damaging, or if overlooked, they can be extremely further damaging. So now it's better to look at a scientific way of making such inferences rather than assumptions. For that, learning about forensic building testing is a must. Again, an expert on forensic construction analysis. To start with, Shri Girish, what is forensic investigation of an RCC building?
Thanks, sir. Each and every time, sir, we have to face the questions of what is a forensic investigation. It is nothing but it's a scientific analysis like a post-mortem after the failure of the human body. Similarly, like after the structural failure, we have to make the analysis to find out the reasons why the structure going to be failure, why it is failure, why failure is occurred. We have to analysis, find the reasons, and the base of the analysis or forensic analysis done at the time of the such deficiency or the age, due to the age factor, like it's a forensic analysis, nothing but it's like a medical analysis. After 50, each and every person's require the analysis of the human body. Similarly, we have to analyze, we have to take the analysis, we have to take care about our residence or any kind of the buildings. It may be the high-rise structure, low-rise structure, or the masonry structures, or a composite structure, or the RCC steel structures. Similarly, we have to examine the entire body of the building, like a human body. वो एनालिसिस करने के बाद उस विजुअल इंस्पेक्शन like a doctor with the help of the stethoscope, nurse calculations, pulse calculations. Similarly, we have to take the visual tour, visual walk through the buildings and take the notes. After that, as per the consultant's requirement or the base of the consultant's experience, we have to derive the such type of the test is required or not. List out the test. It may be the non-destructive test or it may be the destructive test. Non-destructive test means without any damage the body. Damage the body means there is no damage in the body without any cutting the parts of the body. That is non-destructive test. It may be done through the rebound hammer test, pulse velocity test, and there are so many tests available in the market. Of course, in India or in our culture, it's new. And the destructive test, it is just like a biopsy. Biopsy means डॉक्टर हमारे शरीर से कोई अंग से कोई कुछ टुकड़ा लेता है और वो एग्जामिनेशन के लिए टेस्ट के लिए लेबोरेटरी में भेजता है. सिमिलरली हमारी जो एग्जिस्टिंग बिल्डिंग है उसमें कोर कटिंग थ्रू बीम या कॉलम और एनी स्ट्रक्चरल मेंबर का वो पार्ट्स लेता है. वो पार्ट्स लेने के बाद वो लेबोरेटरी में भेजता है और वहाँ उनकी थॉरोली एनालिसिस होती है. सीमेंट कंटेंट कितना है, कोरोड कंटेंट कितना है, ग्रीड कपची कितना है, और वो सब वहाँ एनालिसिस होता है. ऑन द बेस ऑफ दिस रिजल्ट्स वी डिराइव द एग्जिस्टिंग स्ट्रेंथ, एग्जिस्टिंग कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द एग्जिस्टिंग स्ट्रक्चर. उसके बिना पर हम लोग ये एनालिसिस करते हैं. आप ऐसा ही मानिए कि जस्ट लाइक इट forensic analysis, it is nothing but it is just you have to compare with the human body test. This is a forensic analysis. Thank you, sir.
Now, further moving ahead, having heard this answer, which was pretty relevant, we should also see why a forensic analysis should be done at all. Why not only take the records of construction of the building and go by the records because somebody would have signed for the records? Why should we go and superimpose ourselves or a third party to do a forensic analysis when records are there of the construction, documents are there, and they have also been certified by somebody, checked by somebody? Why not simply go about that? This I would want an answer from Shri Pip Loda.
Sometime we see the building during visual inspection, we can say the construction of the building is very poor. In a layman language we can say, but these facts may be sometime wrong, and we can go for further analysis so that we can conclude whether the structure standing is safe or not. So for that we have to go for some specific analysis, and these results we can get from the forensic analysis, in which non-destructive techniques generally used for the structural safety or durability for future use.
Rather, a very nicely put across point, if elaborated, you can look at it in this manner. It so happens that many times a party is constructing a building for another party on a consideration. So there is a profit percentage involved. So it can so happen that either the builder himself or the residential manager of the builder, site manager, or people in various verticals to cut corners could have made some error, some mistake, some time, because of which certain things could have gone wrong. Now they might not be recorded, but then if he has preserved, let us say, cubes, while casting, they cast a few extra cubes, make some bench, make some sit out, make some veranda using those cubes with the numbers written. So someday when a test needs to be done, that can be taken out and tested. There are people who go to that extent. Or it may so happen that records are non-existent of a building. building has become old. Or it may so happen that records are somewhere from where it will take time to fetch, where there is an immediate use of the building, where you need to be sure whether tomorrow so much of load, so many people can stand on the tower or not, because there is an event coming up. Sometimes to be doubly sure during a very important occurrence, you want to reascertain. So there can be a number of reasons for which we can go in for a forensic analysis. Now, what all data do you think will be required for a forensic analysis? क्या क्या चाहिए होगा analysis करने के लिए? Data क्या चाहिए होगा शुरुआत में श्री गिरीश?
Thanks. Forensic analysis. First, I want to clarify that forensic analysis is nothing but is a scientific analysis for to find the reason for the structural failures and how to retrofit the existing structures due to the changing scenario. In past, there is no codal provision for the earthquake engineering or earthquake or seismic forces. As on today, it is required to design the building as seismic analysis as per the new codal provision. To meet the new codal provision or the seismic retrofitting or the seismic strengthening, the extra strengthening you may call as retrofitting of the existing structure is required. For retrofitting is a process of to provide the strengthening to the existing structures to meet the current seismic force or current seismic analysis. For a particular, there are the two type of the retrofitting is required. In the case of the failure of the structure, existing structure, it may be due to the climatic or due to the natural calamities or overloadings or the change of the uses of the existing structure, or due to the age factor also. As on today, we require the forensic analysis for it's in a high demand because of the all the buildings or more or less the so many 80% buildings of the India are going to be cross the 50 years of the age. Preliminary data is required. First, we had to go to the sites, visual inspection with the on the base of the engineering experience, walk through the entire building, take the notes, climatic conditions, all the data is like age of the building, construction year, construction methodology, types of the construction, deterioration of the constructions, and after that we had to prepare the conditional assessment reports on the base of our visual inspection.
Right.
Visual inspection is most important parameter in the conditional reports or the forensic analysis. After that, and on the base of the existing conditions of the report, we have to derive the which type of the methods is required for that. It may be the destructive test or it may be the non-destructive test. And we have to collect the structural drawings from the owner or the management of the structure. Third party, if it is available, the structural design, then we have to go through the structural designs, concrete grade, steel grade, types of the cements, etc., etc. After that, we have to put the knots on the base of the entire observations with the results of the NDT or the DT, destructive test or the NDT test, laboratory analysis, and put on the papers, and then you have to suggest the party or to strengthen the existing structure, sir. Please.
Great. Mr. Girish, you went very elaborate. So, ladies and gentlemen, an important part that Mr. Girish touched upon was a condition assessment report. Now, what is condition assessment report? Condition assessment report, I'll give you a small example. Go to Google, go to Florida, type National Due Diligence Services. A company props up. That company prepares condition assessment report for every such doubtful property, wherever some litigation is involved, wherever some inquiry is involved, wherever something has gone wrong. Now they say that attached herewith is a conditional assessment report prepared for the building number so and so, and the conditional assessment report has been prepared based on ASTM, American Society for Testing and Materials. Some basis based on which, some norm, some benchmark, how they have gone. Then they will say that user resilience or some reference as to what all that building was supposed to have had as common engineering practice and what all has not been done. And that is how they prepare it. Now, in the condition assessment report, number of photographs are used. So, Mr. Girish,
Yeah.
why do you use so many photographs in a condition assessment report?
During the inspection or the visual inspections to the sites, during the visits, I have consultant have collect the photographs regarding all the corners, all the connections between. Connection between means a connection between the slab to the wall, wall to the foundation, wall to the plinth, wall to the ground. We had to collect all the photographs from each and every corner. With the help of photographs, we had to identify which type of the deficits, which type of the poor connections or which type of the damages are occurred. It may be due to the natural calamities or a time passage or any kind of the man-made calamities. When you goes in the parking of the high-rise building or the low-rise building, go in the second cellar or the first cellar parking, you observe that कॉलम्स के कॉर्नर बहुत सारी जगह टूटे पड़े दिखेंगे आपको, बहुत सारी जगह. Why this has happened? This is a nothing but this is a man-made calamities or it may be the impacts of the vehicular traffic. रिवर्स लेते आगे ले तो कभी कभी टूट जाता है. तो आप देखोगे तो पूरा बिल्डिंग सही होगा, लेकिन जब सेलर में जाओगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि उनकी जो वर्टिकल रेनफोर्समेंट है वो कहीं कहीं बाहर निकल आया है. तो दिस इज अंडर कंसिडरेशन ऑफ द फॉरेंसिक analysis. We had to take the photographs from each and every corner, from top of the foundation may be called as a plinth level to parapet, not only the parapet or it may be the up to the stair cabin, inclusive of the all the architectural and the structural members. We had to minute observe, micro observe and take the photograph with the help of the very high resolution photograph.
Thank you very much. It was very, very well covered. Now coming to, there are so many non-destructive tests, Mr. Piploda, you mentioned about. Can you throw some light on the type of non-destructive tests, how they are conducted, and what test will apply to which area?
Thank you, sir. There are many NDT tests available in the market, and where and how to use these is a very vast topic, but here I will list out what are the NDT tests available in the market. Firstly, the most common test is Rebound Hammer test. This can be performed very easily and the strength of the structure element can be easily detected. Now second is ultrasonic pulse velocity test. Next, cover meter test. With this test we can find the cover over the reinforcement, how much cover is available and how it will behave in the future. Then resistivity test. This is also a NDT test which is used for the soundness of the structure. Then electromagnetic test, carbonation test and bar locator test. These are the common tests which are available in the market and commonly used in the structure stability or structural soundness. Now, where and which one is the suitable test which should be conducted on ground? Based on the physical or visual report, we roughly estimate that what is the percentage deterioration of the structure. So, based on that, we can select the type of test. Second is what is the use of that structure which is being tested and what will be the future use of that. Sometime we use the structure, suppose we constructed for one purpose and after a period, suppose we want to change the utilization of the structure, and that structure may or may not fit for that utility or that purpose. In that case, we should go for NDT test, and we can analyze whether this structure can be used for defined purpose or change of the accommodation. So, based on the importance of the structure, based on the physical appearance and preliminary report, we should wisely choose the test for NDT, and these tests can be performed in the presence of the specialist, so that we can achieve the desired result after the completion of the test. Thank you, sir.
Now, Mr. Piploda has covered in elaborate detail as to how non-destructive testing can be done, because this was one of the most important parts of this discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, we move now to a much commonly used equipment, which he also covered, but otherwise the rebound hammer. So, many times people take a rebound hammer and start beating it on the green concrete. They will be chipping it away, damaging it. Anything should be used only where it should be used and only in the manner it should be used. So, Shri Girish, I want you to throw light on types of rebound hammers available in the market, both manual and digital, and how rebound hammers are used. अब ये अगर समझाएंगे तो people will know where and where not, and how not to do the rebound hammer, use the rebound hammer.
Rebound hammer test. It is very simple test. It's a most common test. 20 years back or 15 years back, I have used the hammer, manual hammer or carpenter's hammer or mistri's hammer, to examine the body of the structural body. Nowadays, the rebound hammer tests are available. In the preliminary stage, the manual rebound hammers are available in the markets. Nowadays, digital rebound hammers is available in the markets. And in the manually hammer, we have to calculate, after getting the result, we have to calculate the result. And then digital rebound hammer, we got the directly results without taking any readings. You just convert the results into the compressive strength of the concretes. Rebound hammer, it's a current practice like a stethoscope of the doctor. Rebound hammer, of course, so many persons, there are the differences in opinion, it is not trustworthy instruments. But from my angle, rebound hammer test or rebound hammer process, it is a trustworthy when you mix up your experience with the result or the test. It is a very trustworthy instruments. It requires the average, particular for the column. There are the 4 phase, we have to select the 4 phase. Randomly, it may be the 1 meter height or 1.20 feet height or 1.50 meter heights or 1.75 meter heights. You have to take on just nearby the 9 results, 9 test, 9 rebound hammer. 9 rebound hammers in a particular phase at a particular spots, and we have to take the average. And we got the results. Similarly, second phase, third phase and fourth phase. And we have to, again we conclude the average. And we had to calculate the average strength of the concrete. On the base of this, you can say that you can derive the results and you conclude the results. On the base of the results, you float your opinion, this is going to be corrode or not. This is a rebound hammer test. And it's a very easy test. Any skilled persons or any experienced persons can handle these instruments. And Always I have used the rebound hammer. Before that, I have used the hammer. Thank you, sir.
Now, a case can be made as to some building would have gone wrong somewhere. In the MES, sometimes we want to go for a risk and cost contract. So, a building, the builder could not complete it, abdicated in between, bhag gaya, he ran away, he absconded, he dropped it. Now it has to be concluded, so we will do a board, we will assess. Then after that, we will make a new contract at the risk and cost of the person who has abdicated the contract. Now the point is, when we do that, वो बिल्डिंग तो वहाँ खड़ा है, जो आधा बनकर खड़ा है बिल्डिंग, जिसके ऊपर 1, 1.5, 2 साल बीत चुका है, बारिश हुआ है, धूप लगा है, कुलम पड़ा है, तो क्या कुछ खराब नहीं हुआ होगा? अगर कुछ हुआ है तो उसकी टेस्टिंग कुछ तो करना होगा, और वी विल हैव टू पुट इट इन द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कि जो उसको टेक ओवर करके रिस्क एंड कॉस्ट करेगा वो उसको टेस्ट करे और जो ज़रूरत है उसको मेक गुड करे और आगे बढ़े. समटाइम्स हो सकता है कि द रॉड्स वुड हैव गॉट, bars would have got rusted, sometimes they would have got broken, sometimes exposed concrete could have got damaged. Now even otherwise, after taking over for risk and cost construction after awarding the contract, the contractor cannot simply start building on top of the previous concrete. He will have to use some admixtures, he will have to go by a particular principle to construct new concrete over old concrete. So, it is much necessary to have a proper forensic audit. So, Mr. Doijode, आपके नॉलेज में MES में कभी कभी आपने देखा होगा कि बिल्डिंग के साथ कुछ खराब हो गया है और देयर इज अ नीड फॉर अ फॉरेंसिक टेस्ट. अगर आपकी एक्सपीरियंस में ऐसे कुछ है, यू नीड नॉट मेंशन स्टेशन और प्लेस, एंड इट नीड नॉट बी MES, इट कैन बी CPW, इट कैन बी सिविल वेंडर्स, इट कैन बी एनीबॉडी, इट कैन बी नॉर्मल कंस्ट्रक्शन एजेंसी. आप कुछ तो एग्जांपल्स बताइए कैसे कैसे कहाँ आपने देखा है.
Rightly asked, sir. Many times we often only look for structural aspects with respect to the forensic studies as well as the analysis. Irrespective of structural analysis, an important issue is of architecture relations also. In many buildings, irrespective of maybe government or private or any other building, many common issues with respect to the forensic studies occur, such as if I see from bottom to the top, say from ground level to the roof level, we notice at all levels there are some or the other discrepancies during the course of action in the life of the building, we understand. In day-to-day practice also, many times if I see, like from the external surface of the building, we see most of the times the deterioration is noted near to the plinth area. As well, immediate when we enter, so many areas in flooring at the corners, many times at the center also, if the flooring is not done properly, we notice such problems we experience. Irrespective of flooring, when we come up, many times doors, windows, as well as the lintel level and till roof level, lot of times we see deterioration through the plaster. May it be a external plaster or internal plaster. Sometimes when the ceiling is treated for acoustical purpose, the ceiling is also warped up. And as we go in detail, certainly the forensic analysis props in. Forensic analysis, according to me, it is a role of a CID. Many times it is a cross-questioning, going to the basics, going to the back and history, So certainly, apart from structural designing, architectural elements also matters much. Certainly, apart from architectural elements, the quality of construction matters too much. In my experience of 23 years in MES, what I have noticed till now is most of the times, I am sorry to say, but most of the times we often notice leakage seepage areas in the wet areas. Wet areas we count as such as toilet, water coolers, as such. Also, the plumbing design needs to be innovative. We have already started the process in our zone through innovative plumbing solutions. Now, our all forthcoming buildings will have adequate plumbing designing. Many times, due to plumbing or improper plumbing also, the deterioration takes place. There are n number of buildings to be counted. If I say take out the list, it will never end. But yes, the care has to be taken during the construction process, irrespective of keeping the records, returns, and all the details of construction activity. There is an essential need of an engineer as well as the personnel involved during the construction to look after the quality. Quality certainly matters. According to me, there are certain parameters which has to be taken lot of care, such as water. Water plays an important role. If we use the salt water, we notice the deterioration of structure. It is already said in so many contracts that the water should be treated with RO. It matters a lot because water cement ratio, as well as in every activity, water is an important base. Apart from water, every activity in construction, if it is mismatched in some or the other sense, it appeals and we notice deterioration, and if it is not considered in proper sequence, it is seen in maximum percentage. If a life of a building is 50 years and the construction quality is not in a progress in a proper way, then it will certainly come down to maybe 30, 35 or 40 years. So, the better solution is also to go in a green way. Green buildings also matters much because the orientation wise, the planning wise, all the parameters wise also, every activity is considered in a proper sequence and noted, the criterions are counted, and if we can go through lead or any Griha rating as such. Many times we always see any algae or any some peepal tree or some small trees cropping up in the roof area, which is damaging the structure. This also is part and parcel of forensic science analysis. So, respected ladies and gentlemen, I, from my experience, always appeal and convey you that irrespective of architectural designing, the important criteria is also to have a quality construction. More and more visits are required, more and more checks are required, more and more inspections are required. Of course, in our MES, we are having stable designs and stable structures, irrespective of other institutions. But today, there is a need of an hour that every aspect has to be again and again cross-checked, again and again analyzed, so that we don't lead to the forensic analysis in further course of action. At the last, I would also convey one point. While planning and designing of the building, if any odd geometrical shapes are taken into consideration, there should be a way and means to go for a proper way of construction and proper way of checks. There shouldn't be any blame game for any activity, but to have a proper analyzed way of route ahead. By expressing my these short views, I would request respected sir to take on for other.
Now, once we make such a report, we conclude with the data and we make a report. Now, how a report is made? It should have a few pages. It should go in a particular sequence. It should follow a method and reach some conclusion. So, Mr. Girish, I would want you to throw light on how a forensic analysis report is made.
On the base of this analysis reports, we means as a consultant can suggest the therapy for the deficiency or for the damage control of the existing structure. How to prepare or what are the contents required in the analysis report? First, history of the building, foundation depths, from foundation depth to the finish, or from ground level to the top of the parapet or top of the stair cabin. History, who are the constructor, the construction methodology. It may be in the item rate contracts, or it may be in the lump sum contracts, or it may be on the labor contracts. First 2-3 page is required for the history of the building. Second, collect the structural drawing from the concerned authority or concerned owner or concerned management or the concerned consultants. Third, structural design. Of course, I think it's difficult to get the structural designs from the concerned person, but it is required. If not, then with the experience, you can judge the analysis. It may be the limit-state method, it may be the working stress method, it may be the moment distribution method. On the base of the structural drawings and the structural analysis or structural design, you have to put the knots or you have to prepare the data, slab thickness, concrete grade, steel grade, construction methodology, types of the concrete, types of the concrete production. It may be the manual, it may be the machine mix, or it may be the RMC. Then, lifestyle of the existing user is directly affect to the conditions or the stability of the building. Sometimes it is happen, changing of the lifestyle or the upgrade the lifestyles, the existing users going to be change in the planning, going to be change in the structural grid. You may be called as additional alteration, balcony cover, change of the loading pattern. You have to note all these things. Then we have to prepare the conditional assessment report. Next, in the next page or next index, conditional assessment reports means you have to walk through the entire building, study all the joints of the parts, connections. Connection means beam to column, column to slab, beam to slab, column to ground level, beam column to foundations, etc. All the connections, horizontal, vertical, and if there is any kind of the slope, then there is inclined angles. You have see all the points like a plumbing line, electrical line, fungal development, alkalis development, any stigma effect, environmental effect, any vegetation grow. If there is any lack of the bonding between the plastering and or plastering to the wall structure or plastering to the RCC structures, any kind of the false ceiling, color work, paint work, flooring, and most important, junction of the parapet and the slab. Then during your walkthrough, during the traveling in the such building, you have to take the photographs with a high pixel or a DSLR camera. You have to take the photographs from each and every angle. Door junction, beam junctions, any partition wall. You have to take the knots, where is the deficits. Then you select the type of the test. It may be the NDT or it may be the DT. DT means distorted test. Go for the test. Collect the results from the laboratory. Mention it. All the results. Going to conclusion that this part or column C1 or column C103 or beam 13 are poor or not. Structural strength, compressive strength, please note it, this compressive strength. After that, getting the result, please mark the points on actual structures and mark on the drawing. Analyze all the points, where is the deficiency. Then conclude the analysis. Then you are going to be suggest jacketing is required, beam jacketing is required, extra strengthening is required, wall strengthening is required. What are the materials required for that? What are the epoxy materials or what are the chemicals required for the strengthening that? After the strengthening, please mark the extended life of the building. What are the prolonging period after the strengthening? And you have to prepare from 0 to 99, history and the future. You have to collect all the data and prepare the reports with the photographs, with the plan, as an annexure with the plan, photographs and designs, and submit to the concerned authority. He or she may be any kind of the organization or any owner. After that, the owner start the retrofitting as per the guideline which is given by or on the base of the forensic analysis reports. Similarly, medical reports, doctor can start the treatment on the base of medical reports, inclusion of all kind of the reports. Similarly, same method is applied here. Doctor or the consultant start the treatment on the base of the forensic analysis report. And again, I have used the word forensic analysis report. It's a new word in our country, but actually this is a rehabilitation or retrofitting analysis report. Last word, forensic, it's nothing but it's a retrofitting. Once again, thanks, sir.
Gentlemen, we have had a panoramic view of forensic analysis. Now what happens is that when we do forensic construction analysis of a building, we will come to the deficiencies, the suboptimal actions, the errors that were seen, what has been the result of that, and the way forward, whether jacketing has to be done or retrofitting has to be done, what improvements have to be done. Gentlemen, we have had a very purposeful and an educated interaction on forensic analysis of construction. I am sure that it will go a long way forward when we listen to this video, see this video and add it to our a priori knowledge, what we already have, and knowledge that we gain as we move by will be much richer and the organizations across the board will be benefited. Thank you.